Hey everyone, we are getting ready to board our ship, the Norwegian Breakaway, and head out on our Canada and New England cruise, and we are super pumped about it. This time we decided to drive to New York from the Toronto area and park at the cruise terminal, so I'm going to share everything about our boarding process and what it was like parking here, so let's go take a look at what it's like to board the ship. We made the 8-hour drive from the Toronto area in Ontario to New York City, and with stops and traffic, it took us closer to 11 hours. But it allowed us to spend a couple of days sightseeing before our Canada and New England cruise, and avoid flying. This was the first time we've ever driven to Manhattan, and also the first time we've ever parked at a cruise terminal for a cruise. And I gotta say, we kinda loved it. The morning started out very easy. We called our car from the valet, and because it was early morning on a Sunday, there really wasn't any traffic on our short drive to the port parking lot. So we were in the car this morning, headed over to the Manhattan Cruise Terminal. We drove into New York and are parking at the pier. I did reserve my parking at the pier in December, and our cruise is in September. So I was a little bit proactive on that one because I didn't want to not have somewhere to park. So we are headed over. It is 9 o'clock. Our boarding time is between 10 and 10:30, but as you know, that's never the case. They're usually a little bit behind. But this has been quite the adventure driving here, and I'll let you know how the parking situation goes in case anyone else wants to drive down from Toronto or some other area and park here in Manhattan. Once we got closer to the port, traffic was a bit worse because there were people leaving the ship and arriving, plus there was a second ship in port at the same time. We've actually experienced worse traffic taking Ubers into the port or driving in Toronto and Los Angeles, so it may have just been our early morning arrival time that made it such a breeze. Either way, getting into the lot was pretty straightforward. So because we prepaid, we didn't have to do anything except scan our ticket when we got here. Then we were directed down by our ship. We're on the Norwegian Breakaway, which I don't know if you can see right beside me. That's pretty exciting. And now we just have to go find a spot. It is only 9:15 now, and the parking lot looks pretty much full. And they've got these sorry lot full signs that are ready to be put out at any moment. So I think if you're coming to park here, I would recommend getting here as early as you can, just because you want to make sure that you get a spot if you're relying on parking here. And that's it for us. We're just looking for our spots and gonna board the ship soon. This is really exciting. We've made it to our parking spot, and it was actually quite easy to get here. We did stay at a hotel that wasn't too far away, so we were at Inc. 48, which is on 11th and 48th or somewhere around there. So it was very conveniently located to the cruise terminal.
And the parking situation itself was a lot less stressful than I thought it was going to be. But I will say there's not a lot of spots left. It's filling up very quick. And I think there's also some crossover between people getting off the ship and people getting on the ship. So it may even be extra full.
Yeah, and I think you can actually stay parked here for a few hours after the ship departs or after you get off the ship. So people might actually be out sightseeing while other people are trying to come and park for their departure. So that's just something to know if you're coming here. Overall, I think I would do this again because it was actually quite easy and you didn't have to worry about flying, which is always a plus. So we are parked right here, as you can see. Alan's just doing some final things. And that's our ship, right up here. That is really exciting. So these are people who are actually leaving the ship, disembarking so that we can get on. So we're probably still a little bit too early to actually go on the ship. But it's cool to see what the process is like, because normally you don't get to see this up close because we're not parked. And in the switchover between disembarking and getting everyone back on the ship for the next cruise, they have so much to do to load up all of the supplies, everything that we're going to eat and drink over the next week. Then we made our way to the elevators, and right at the top there were porters collecting luggage to bring it to the ship. We are in, we dropped off our luggage with one of the porters, and now we're taking the escalator down and we're already inside, so that's pretty cool. Normally you have to like get in line and all that stuff, but here is the line. So we've made it through security and now are going to present our boarding passes and passports. And the lines are actually moving pretty well. Once you get through security, you just line up and then you go up to one of the desks here where they give you your cards and everything that you'll need for the ship. So your card is your room key, and also if you have the drink package, it'll be mentioned on there, and you also use it to purchase anything on the ship.
Check-in process has been very good. My advice is always be early for this stuff. I mean, if things are a little bit slow, you got time to kill. If things are going fast, you get on the ship faster.
So we just got to the desk, answered a couple of questions about your health, gave our passports, they scanned our boarding passes, and now they're giving us our cards. Got our card. Our boarding group is 19, so hopefully that comes soon. So we just got our picture taken at the Norwegian backdrop, because you have to do that when you're getting on the ship to commemorate it. But if you want to buy it, it's probably going to cost you quite a bit.
And now we hurry up and wait. It's nice to be here early. I'd rather be waiting than stressing, thinking we're going to miss the ship. So worthwhile to sit down, relax, and just ease into the vacation.
We are on our way to get on the ship now. They called our boarding number, and we just had to show our card so that we could get through. Now we are heading to the ship. So exciting.
A, boarding area C. A, B, and C is boarding area C. If you are D, E, F, you are boarding in the rear of the terminal. The rear of the terminal for embarkation must the stations A, B, and C in the front of the terminal is boarding area C.
Thank you. After we scanned into the ship, we made the winding walk up the ramps to get on board. And this is when the true excitement always gets us. Vacation mode is activated, along with our awful dance moves, but we just can't help ourselves. Hello.
Hi there. Have you guys watched the safety video?
Yes, twice.
Perfect. So like you're gonna use
Oh, 3 times, yeah.
Yeah, we make sure that you know what's gonna happen. But yes, like you're gonna hear the general emergency alarm. It's gonna be 7 short blasts, 1 long blast. It's just that you know what it sounds like.
Yeah.
You do not have to react to it. However, once we set sail, if you do hear this alarm, proceed directly to your assembly station. If you are in your cabin, grab your life jacket from under the bed, any essential medication and warm clothing, and then proceed to your assembly station. If not, if you are not in your cabin, proceed directly to your assembly station and just communicate to whoever is there or one of us that is there that you need something.
Okay, perfect. So we are officially on the ship now. We just went to check in at our muster station to get the safety briefing, and now we are free to roam the ship until we take off.
I'm about ready for a drink.
We're gonna go look for a drink because that's the first thing we like to do when we get on board and tour around while the ship is still relatively empty. Whenever we're on a Norwegian ship, Oceans is usually our first stop. You can also have lunch here on embarkation day to avoid the buffet crowds. So we are in the Garden Cafe right now, which is the main buffet, and if you can't tell by the noise and the amount of people in here, it's absolutely packed. And that's pretty normal for the first day. The first thing you do when you get on the ship is usually get something to eat or drink. For us, we always go for the drinks first, but then we had a light lunch here because we're probably going to eat numerous times throughout today and the rest of the cruise because the food is just so delicious. Overall, so far, it's been a great start to the cruise. Then we needed some coffee to keep our energy high as we continued on our cruise tour. We're up on deck 16, and this is giving us a great view of the harbor area, and you can also see the parking lot from up here. And I'll just flip this around so that you can see how packed it is, and it is 12:30 now. So like we said earlier, if you're planning to park here, we definitely recommend getting here as early as possible just so that you don't get the dreaded lot full sign. We booked in advance and I think it's definitely worth doing that if you know you're going to be driving. Anyways, we're going to continue on touring around the ship now. We've already gone to the Garden Cafe for a light lunch and had a drink, had a coffee. We basically have a couple more hours to kill before the ship actually sets sail on the cruise, and we really don't have a lot to do. So what we like to do is tour around the ship, get something to eat, and basically just have a leisure day because there's not a lot to do until later once the entertainment starts and you can actually get some sail away party pictures and enjoy sailing out of New York. It's actually one of my favorite ports to sail out of because there's so much beautiful scenery on both sides, the Jersey side and the Manhattan side. Unfortunately today it's a little bit rainy and overcast, so we may not get the glowing sail away party sunset like we did last time, but I still think it's going to be quite lovely. When we boarded the ship, it was rainy and humid out, but the pool deck was actually pretty busy, at the bar and even the hot tubs. It did eventually start to rain, so we relocated inside. On the first day of any cruise, they usually have tables set up with information about the dining packages and specialty options with some menus so you can see what's offered. Plus, they promote the drink packages for anyone that didn't book in advance. I did have to get in line to change one of our dining reservations, so it was the perfect time to do that while it was raining. Now we're sitting inside at Le Bistro because we were getting a little bit too hot outside. It was starting to rain and it was quite humid out there. So we came inside and found a nice chill spot to relax. They just announced that staterooms on deck 10 are available, but that everyone else will still have to wait. And it's about 2:00 p.m., so that's pretty much expected. They should all be ready quite soon, but until then, we found a nice place to relax, and then I'll update you on the room. About 10 minutes later, they announced that rooms on Deck 8 were ready. I'll be sharing a full cabin tour in my next video. We dropped off our bags and headed out for sail away, and we really lucked in with the weather because there were beautiful blue skies and sunshine as we sailed out of the port. Sail away is always one of my most favorite cruise experiences. The energies are high, people are excited, they have music pumping to get the cruisers in vacation mode, and you get to enjoy the beautiful scenery as you sail out of the port. And in New York, you get great views of the Manhattan skyline and the New Jersey side as well with Ellis Island and the Statue of Liberty. And even though this was our second time cruising out of New York, going under the Verrazano Bridge is always a cool experience because it looks like the ship isn't going to fit. Then it was time for dinner. We ate in the Manhattan room and were given a seat at the back of the ship overlooking the water. We ordered our appetizers, mains, and even got dessert on the first night. And everything was so delicious, especially Alan's chicken. But I do think my barbecue ribs were the star of the show because they just fell off the bone. And a bonus of this dining experience was that we got to enjoy the beautiful sunset scenery as we ate our meal. Then it was time for a show, so we got in line at Sid Norman's Poorhouse and even got front row seats. We did have to wait in line for about half an hour, but believe me, it was worth it. And the lines for this show only got longer and longer as the cruise went on and people heard about how amazing it was. And that was our first day. I hope you enjoyed learning more about our parking and boarding experience, and if you liked the video, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and stay tuned because I'll be sharing a full cabin tour in my next video and even more content from our Canada and New England cruise. So, thanks for watching and I'll catch you in the next one.